Teaching children a moral, spiritual, and holistic approach to educational development. Written by El-Moslimany. Chapter 3: From Factory School to the Standard Management Paradigm. IIIT Books in Brief Series. Published by International Institute of Islamic Thought, IIIT. Powerful groups within a society build institutions, including schools, to serve their own purposes. Just as the primary intent of the colonial powers was to train clerks for the imperial administration, the public schools in industrialized Europe and North America adopted a system that would train workers for their factories. John Taylor Gatto, New York City and State Teacher of the Year, became so disillusioned with the educational system in the US that he left the classroom and devoted his life to exposing the true objectives of compulsory education. He showed that the primary purpose was to train lower-class youth to accept their roles as subservient to the industrial elite. This was capped by the mania that took the country by storm around what was called scientific management. Scientific management, developed by efficiency experts, revolutionized factories with closely supervised assembly line control. It was soon applied everywhere, including schools. As in the factories, this would require that students and teachers produce not by their own initiative, but execute the orders of management. To accomplish this, engineers would make a thorough study of the raw material, the students, of the factory, the building, the directorate, the school board, the workforce, teachers, and the markets, industry and society. To make sure that spaces within the school were always in use, the same thing would be taught over and over to groups of children moving through the building according to strictly scheduled periods of time. Students would learn exactly what everyone of the same age learns, at exactly the same time, in exactly the same order. They would keep quiet and listen, be fed everything in small, unrelated pieces. In middle and high school, bells still ring every 40 to 50 minutes. Just as with Pavlov's salivating dogs, children shift out of their seats and lurch towards yet another class. Although younger children may move from one place to another only for specialty subjects, their day too is segmented into separate subjects devoid of unification. Put away your reading books now, it's time for math. It is indeed very much as if our children are on a conveyor belt. As they pass each workstation of unrelated topics, a 45-minute measure of facts predetermined by the powerful is poured into their heads. Testing assures quality control. With the decline of manufacturing, the essence of the factory method did not die, but simply morphed into what has been called the standard management syndrome, focused on an engineered, goal-driven, segmented disciplinary curriculum. Both the factory model and the S&P model were designed and put into place not by educators, but by the powerful corporate world through their financial alliance with government. The educational publishing industry is huge. The politicians they lobby, whether on local school boards or those making state or national policy, are not only lacking in knowledge of how children learn, but also have goals that differ from those in the classrooms. This makes it easy for those who pay their campaign expenses to convince the politicians that what the schools need is more of the same: newer, up-to-date textbooks, more tests, tougher standards, and more management based on the factory or the S&P model. The high-tech classrooms jointly promoted by the Gates Foundation and the massive educational text publisher Pearson epitomize the standard management paradigm. Students use their tablets purchased from Microsoft to learn predetermined material determined by Pearson. The role of the teacher is more than that of a functionary to keep order. The financial benefit to Microsoft and Pearson of this high-tech learning is, of course, tremendous. It is indeed unfortunate that many of those who control our Islamic schools have bought into the prevalent ideas of the politicians, insisting that we have no choice, that if our children are to truly be successful in this society, then we have to go along with the ideas of teaching to the test, excessive competition, intrinsic motivation, moving away from perceived time wasters such as physical education and the arts, and embracing a curriculum that is not simply lacking in Islamic values, but often contrary to them. We have a vision. We have the vision, a vision far from that of the corporate world, and our vision is unified and it is based on foundations of Islamic concept of Tawheed. We have dedicated our lives to teaching Muslim children. We have a strong spiritual and intellectual Islamic foundation and have embraced the role that God created us for, always struggling for justice, for humanity and all creation. We have access to the ideas of numerous Muslim intellectuals, as well as to knowledge of established educational research on how children best learn. Educators of conscience, Muslim and others are speaking out. It is up to us to apply our vision within our schools, wherever it is found, into a unified version of the truth.